Hey guys, it's Matt. You see, the Notnilc gives us so much to talk about. There's so much bullshit presented. I've done 3 Notnilc travel tours. I mean, we could be doing this every other video. There's so many places for people like us to see, so much false history to break down, so many places we can go where people like us would be arrested, so we travel virtually. I think we've only been to Smolensk, Russia. But Borneo, and that was the repeating theme, of course, of the colonial powers come in to screw over the indigenous folk. And then Tasmania was the same thing. Colonial powers come in, screw over indigenous folk. There can be an entire YouTube channel, just endless cities and countries colonial powers come in, screw over the indigenous folk. Now, in the past, I've done a video on Astana, Kazakhstan, but we've never done a Notnilc travel tours to Astana. Oh, it's much different. The experience is, we're literally going to go. We go virtually. And remember what happened? For half of the video, I called it a Santa. And that know-it-all commenter was like, oh, this idiot can't even pronounce the name right. It's not a Santa. It's Astana. You know what? I think because it's not Notnilc Travel Tours, I should pronounce it correctly. Astana. The name today will be Astana. See if that same troll commenter comes back. Headline: Astana, capital of Kazakhstan, super modern city. Oh, sure it is. Makes perfect sense. A town of goats transforms into this super high-tech metropolis in less than 15 years. But you'd have to be one of those people to say there's one set of creeps at one table that rule everything. In 2006, the movie Borat gave us a taste or flavor of what Kazakhstan is really like in, say, the opening 8 to 10 minutes. Remember, this is Natalia. She my sister. She number 4 prostitute. Actually, this is a Mandela effect for many. She was number 3 prostitute, but let's not get into that. Number 4 prostitute. Oh, Kazakhstan. This gave us a taste of what going to Kazakhstan would be like. And then shortly after, this Astana pops up and like, where the hell did this place come from? It just reeks, disgustingly reeks of a one world system. Did you notice the headline at the bottom? If CNN is saying Astana is a weird place, well, that's fucking saying something. Because CNN, like the BBC, one of the main stooges to cover up the strange activities of the creepy table. But still, this would help. You could take this to your mom, your Aunt Ginny, your best friend. Look, even CNN says there's something going on. Oh, don't stop being one of those people. Everything makes sense in this world, Matt. I'll eat your mashed potatoes. Okay, I guess we're going to have to visit Kazakhstan ourselves, and specifically Astana, via Notnilc Travel Tours. As usual, I've made all the accommodation arrangements and your tickets coming in the mail. I have us booked 6 days, 7 nights in the Best Western Astana. It's a mile off the beaten path, saved us $20 a night. Best Western Hotels, Astana. Clarion Choice Hotels, the cheap-ass one, wasn't available. They're all fucking booked. Best Western, not a bad compromise. Well, how are we going to get there? Is that what you're... We have a charter flight all ready to go. Guatemalan Airways. See, they refurbish Lockheed L-1011s from the 60s. They provide us with a refurbished L-1011, chartered. Nobody else on board but us. And 2 pilots they're providing. They say that they were grounded in Guatemala, unsafe to fly in Guatemala. One has heroin charges, but they're providing those 2 pilots to us for cheap. Those 2 will fly us to Moscow, after which we have to switch to a special flight from Aeroflat. Now, this is not a grounded pilot, a real pilot for Aeroflat, but it's that old propeller plane, the one Rocky used to fight Ivan Drago. Remember that? Paulie got off the flight. He's like, they don't even have the Rose Bowl game here. We have to fly on, it's old, but it'll get us there. Let me use maps, guys, for just a minute or two so we can get a bearing on where we're going, how far we need to travel to get there. Here's Kazakhstan, all the way over here. It looks like it's touching Mongolia. It's that far. And it's a gigantic country. You pick this thing up and plop it in the United States. I mean, just from the look of it, it looks like it would take up a third. It is a massive country. And I don't have the best news for you poor devils listening in Australia and the UK and Germany and Finland and other areas around the world. If you want to go on Notnilc travel tours, you've got to make your way to New York JFK Airport, right outside New York City. Our charter flight, our deal with Guatemalan Airways, via what they did and the arrangement they made with the Mexican drug cartels, they will get our charter flight to New York JFK. All right, so if you listen to me right now from Melbourne or Sydney, your broke ass is all the way down under, I'm sorry. You got to get your own ass on Qantas or whatever. That's the one Rain Man would get on because it never had no problems, and get all the way to New York JFK. I'm sorry. I booked the negotiated price is $66.66 US dollars, $6,666. It does not include you making your way to New York. And that's the best I could do, guys. All right. So we fly from New York all the way here to Moscow. And then, as I mentioned, we have to switch flights and get on that prop plane that Rocky took to go fight Ivan Drago. Then we will make our way. Let's see if I can zoom in here. There it is. There it popped up. Astana. See, it's probably the only city in that whole wretched place. Moscow here, they say it's such a broken down piece of shit propeller plane. It's going to be another 3.5 to 4 hours. But we do land directly in Astana, and then we have a little van. They're promising a van that's not broken down to take us to the Best Western. Now, most of us traveling will be Americans, and we don't want to be the typical American tourist, ignorant of the places in which we're going. We need to learn something, have a little respect for the places we'll be traveling to. Now, below it says, Astana holds the Guinness Book of World Records for the most name changes, and it's up to you to remember all the previous name changes so you can use them accordingly when we're there. So it was known as Akmolinsk. Say it after me. Akmolinsk. Get ready. Stalinograd. I think the T is silent like the D in Django. Akmala. Most recently, Nur Sultan. No, most recently, Astana. What is that? What bot wrote this? Most recently, before Astana, it should say, bot. Nur Sultan. Now, Astana. Guinness Book. Oh, this is not a joke. It's literally, this is not a joke. Holds the Guinness Book of Records for most name changes. The city lies on the banks of the Ishim River. Who cares? Who cares about this stuff? 1,300,000 people live there? 1 million poor devils? Holy, that's way bigger than I thought. Almaty, okay, it used to be the capital of Kazakhstan. That did develop naturally via oil and gas revenues. One of the themes of this channel is the repeating reality script. When a script of some kind repeats itself and tells the real spiritual being that they're living in some sort of weird play, then the world isn't very real. For example, a lot of the places we visit, the script is, this place we're going to has indigenous peoples, or what you would call an Indian population. I don't need to know nothing. I guarantee this population was screwed over at some point by the colonial powers. It's a script that repeats every time. Now, another script that repeats, whenever a city or a region around the world is just, there's nothing there but horned frogs. I mean, just sand and nothing. And then it builds up. Oh, it's always oil and gas revenues. Oh, don't be one of those people, Matt. It's not this creepy table. I don't know what you people are talking about. It's always just natural resources and oil and gas revenues. Explained it away every single time. Just like if you're an Egyptologist, whatever that is, and you work for Oxford or Yale or Columbia or Harvard or Penn, you just yell, if you don't know what the fucking thing is you're looking at, the archaeological site, you just yell tomb. Just yell out tomb. And you can keep your $400,000 a year job. You don't need to know nothing about it. You just yell tomb. It's a fucking tomb. Everything's a tomb. And you keep your job. This is a picture of the Göbekli Tepe ruins, one of the most ancient sites in the world, yet recently discovered, 1994. What I have in front of me is a transcript from an open mic. There was a hot mic that recorded a conversation in 1996 between a Columbia professor of archaeology named Lawrence and a Harvard professor of archaeology named Charles. And it says right here on the transcript, it says, Charles, psst. Hey, bub, Charles, get over here. What, Lawrence? What is it? We've been at this site for 2 years, and we still don't have a damn clue. Like most archaeologists around the world studying the ancient sites and the UNESCO bullshit, we don't have a damn clue what it is, what they used it for. We don't know a damn thing about the civilization. I need to keep my damn job. I got kids going to college, like Benny in Total Recall. I got 5 kids to feed. Calm down, Charles. Calm down. What we do is what we always do, my man. Tomb? Of course. We don't know what it is. All of us just say the old reliable. Tell them it's a tomb. We keep our jobs. You get your 5 kids to community college then. Continuing, modern Astana is a planned city, following the process of other planned capitals. Can anybody read between the lines on that Notnilc sentence? Modern Astana is a planned city. No kidding. Just about 4 years ago, it was nothing but horned frogs and sand, dust devils, and tumbleweed. Of course, it's a planned city, but then it says following the process of other planned capitals. Like what? Yeah, like Washington, D.C., and all of them. Insert one of Bill's creepy table posters here. After it became the capital of Kazakhstan, the city dramatically changed shape with its master plan. Oh no. Designed by, why is it always a Japanese architect fulfilling the architectural wishes of the Notnilc? Right back to the Tower 1 and 2. Kisho Kurokawa, a villain. As the seat of government of Kazakhstan, Astana is the site of the Parliament House, Supreme Court, Ak Orda Presidential Palace of Puppets, and numerous government departments and agencies, like in most countries, out to waste the taxpayer money. It is home to a range of futuristic buildings, including many skyscrapers, yes, that we'll be visiting and will wreak havoc on that damn place, like the Delta House and Animal House once our charter flight lands. And by the way, why are they using the old British Parliament House? Like, I could see why the Canadians do it. Why are they using that word? Ah, interesting. What does that part of the world have to do with the old England? Do the judges come out in black robes and white wigs and gavels? Why are they carrying forth those old English terms? I mean, Notnilc, if you're listening to me, Notnilc, I mean, your presentation is really pathetic. What did Triple X say at the diner? And no offense, but their performances were terrible. Notnilc, your performance recently is terrible. Get your act together. This section is called Names because of all the various names that the capital cities had over the years. You thought I was making it up. At the very bottom, the last sentence. As of 2022, it holds the Guinness World Record for the capital city with the most name changes in modern times. Up to the top. The settlement of Akmali, that's the first name, was founded in 1830, possibly named after a local landmark, which I can't pronounce, which literally means white grave. It means white. What the heck? We're going to a place where the original meaning is white grave? Kazakhstan, that's not very friendly to tourists. Most of our chartered flight via Guatemalan Airlines through the Mexican drug cartels that leaves out of JFK Airport, it's white people. We're flying into a city, guys. That means white grave. I can't get no refund. I know some of you are now put off and wanting to go. If it's $66,000, no, it's $6,660.66. If the refund, you only get $4 back. I can only refund $4. So we're going. Okay, strength in numbers. Just don't walk the streets alone. In 1832, it was granted town status and renamed Akmalinsk. Who cares? In 1961, under Nikita Khrushchev, oh yeah, Kazakhstan was part of the Soviet Union. Yeah, under Nikita, it was renamed Selenograd. That's, I guess, the T silent, like the D in Django. I thought it said City of Virgins. It means City of Virgin Lands. No wonder Nikita Khrushchev was so interested in it. Following Kazakhstan's independence, the name was changed again to Akmala. Make up your damn mind. In 1997, the city replaced Almaty as the capital, blah, blah, blah. It was renamed Astana, which means capital city. Oh, that's original. Who's the genius that came up with that? In 2019, this capital city was renamed again. This is ridiculous, all the different names. Okay, let's go on. Skipping ahead quite a bit, this is contemporary era, 1991 to the present. Before the skies was typical Notnilc scripts, war, building of forts, and then, of course, Soviet rule. We'll start with the middle of the first paragraph. Due to several determined advantages, Astana was chosen as the capital. Remember, it went from Almaty, which is an oil and gas hub, to Astana. It was chosen to change and move the location of the capital due to several determined advantages. Oh, we'll see what these advantages are. Yeah, I'm sure. One, large urban areas of literally like what was pictured in Borat, of goats. And yeah, I mean, if that's what you want to call the towns that existed before, I assure you it didn't look anything like what it looks like after it was chosen by the one world system. It was like the rebuilding of Grozny. It was literally Borat's sister and goats. So it was chosen for those urban areas that add so much. They leveled the whole place and rebuilt it. Part one makes no sense. It was chosen to go to Astana for favorable geographic position. Makes no sense. There ain't 1 inch inside all of Kazakhstan that has a favorable geographical position. It ain't on no river. It ain't on no River Charles. It ain't on no Tiber. There's no ports. There's no ocean. There ain't nothing but horned frogs. I'm not joking. It's chosen. This is why we chose it. It's proximity to the major economic centers of the region. Really? Let's go find out how far it is to the only economic center, Almaty. There ain't other economic centers around. It's Kazakhstan. Didn't you see the first 10 minutes of Borat? It was chosen for considerable demographic capacity. Well, that's true. There's unlimited land in all directions. The population could go twice the size of Beijing, and it would have no issue in terms of land or space. The damn country makes Texas look small. It was chosen for... So all this is false so far, except that one, partial truth. Good transportation facilities. Oh, the piece of shit rail lines that existed before all the money was put into it. No, that's bullshit. And this is the funniest one of all. A relatively favorable climate. No, anything that touches Mongolia, I assure you, does not have a favorable climate. That's why they use the term relatively. Relative to what? The outer banks of Siberia? On July 16th, 1999, Astana was awarded the medal UNESCO was awarded the medal and title of the City of Peace. Is that related to Obama's award for the Nobel Peace Prize? UNESCO, guys, wherever UNESCO puts its greasy little fingers or it plops its sign, UNESCO World Heritage Site. You know what that means to me? It means whatever UNESCO is trying to tell you what this ancient site, what it was for, or what it is, or a little bit about the peoples, it means it's a bullshit cover story, a front. It means what it really was is not what UNESCO says. I don't trust UNESCO 1 inch, those villains. Let's look at the Astana relative advantages and why the capital was moved one by one. Guys, I don't ever make a video just for laughs, okay? There's always a truth here. There's always exposing a Notnilc script or understanding what it's trying to put forth, or at least in this case, just calling absolute bullshit. As usual. Remember, it tried to sneak in a relatively favorable climate. Did you say favorable climate? Well, I said relatively. Oh, let's see. Really? A place that touches Mongolia? I don't think so. This is another reason, again, why that whole Genghis the Khan is not a real story. You can't take over the world from this horrible Mongolian steppe, and Kazakhstan's not much bigger. Better. It's bigger, but it's not better. Look at the average temperature. The average temperature in January is 6.5 degrees Fahrenheit. The average temperature. That means the low is quite uncomfortable. 6.5 on the average. 10-degree average during the day for February. Okay? March, up to 24 degrees on average. I mean, if whatever little water exists there freezes over for 3 or 4 months. Look at these. Okay, go down to the precipitation rainfall. The inches are in brackets. January, inches, 0. Don't even make 1 inch. February, in brackets, 0 on the strength. Don't even make 1 inch. March, 1 whole inch of rain. It ain't got no wells. It ain't got no ports. It must be the underground tunnel network. There's no reason to move a fucking capital to a place where only the horned frogs are going to be comfortable. Remember what we're doing here, guys. They put this list together as to why the capital was moved, why this Astana place had such favorable advantages. Oh, and they started with the weather. That was part of the list. We looked at that in the last segment. No, if you don't get no rainfall, back of the class, you have your hand up. It don't support human life. That's a small problem. Water is kind of the most important. Okay, and it's negative 15 to negative 20 degrees some days in January. Fahrenheit. I think Celsius and Fahrenheit touch around negative 25. That's relatively uncomfortable unless you're a polar bear. Well, on their list, it said large urban areas. Well, let's look at that. I take you back again to the first 5 minutes of Borat. This is basically the large urban areas they were talking about. This type of thing in buildings only existed after the Notnilc decided on the new capital and threw hundreds of billions of dollars at it. This didn't exist before. The large urban areas that were such an advantage were the slums from Borat. I'm not even joking. None of it looked like this. This was after the decision. Therefore, the list of why they made the decision makes no sense. Next on their list as to why Astana is such a great new location, they actually had the gall to put favorable geographic location. Now that's where it is, guys. You might not be a geography major from the Ivy League. I assure you, it might be the most unfavorable geographic location in the history of all the world. Okay, above, I don't even have it listed there. It's all Russia. It's no man's land Russian hell going into greater Siberia. There ain't nothing up north. It's right from Dancing with Wolves. There ain't nothing down there, Lieutenant. Dibbly dibbly chee dibbly dibbly. Ain't nothing there, Lieutenant. If you go up, there ain't nothing. And there probably ain't even a rail station. Okay, go down. Oh, wonderful location. At least don't you want to be close to Uzbekistan and Kyrgyzstan, or there's Turkmenistan? Don't you be close to those stands for the trading? No, let's put the capital all the way up north so we can be close to those motherfuckers in Siberia. There ain't nothing up north. So why you want to push the capital up north? So there's that body of water there. Okay, the Caspian Sea, that ain't no great escape, no great port for trading goods through the Silk Road. The Caspian Sea, there ain't no way out. You can sail down to Iran if that's really what anybody wants to do. It goes to Georgia. It goes to Azerbaijan, the Caspian Sea. And let's just say the Caspian Sea or access to it is, you would think, some sort of advantage to access, say, 7 countries or to be even somewhat close to Turkey. Well, I assure you, it's like 20 hours by train. You know how long and hard of a journey it is from Astana to the Caspian Sea? There might not be no roads. I'm not even joking. There's probably a road of some kind, is half dirt, a rail line, 20, 25, 30 hours to get to the Caspian Sea. And you're still a day away from Turkey. And if anybody's screaming at me, I can hear you. Matt, they wanted it remote. The creepy table, the Notnilc One World System, wanted to locate this Kazakhstan capital as far away from anything so they can go in with their underground tunnels or whatever they do. It could be like Bow Grove East. Who knows? Yeah, I would think they want it to be remote. So Wikipedia bot that wrote that, you had the gall to try to say it was chosen for its geographical location. You should be ashamed of yourself, Wikipedia bot. Next up on the list of Wikipedia great advantages for the Astana location, it says, quote, end quote, considerable demographic capacity. Well, there's a problem even with that. Well, yes and no. Considerable demographic capacity. To me, it just means the ability to grow populations. They got 1 million of those poor devils living now. What do they want, 5 million poor devils at 10 million? Fine, you don't have no land issue. We see that. Horned frogs, horned toads. Up north, unlimited space. To the south, unlimited space. Fine. The problem, though, there's no water. Okay, so I don't know. Maybe the Notnilc has a plan for that. Maybe they're going to use atmospheric extractors or something. Land-wise, fine, but not from a water perspective, Wikipedia, so you got that one wrong too. Next up on their list, proximity to major economic centers. Well, they can only be talking about other places inside of Kazakhstan. I already showed you, it's not near any other country of note inside of a 20-hour train ride. So there's Astana up top, proximity to other major economic centers. So Karaganda, which looks to be about an hour south, to be close to Karaganda to trade your smoked meats or whatever. That's some sort of economic advantage. Look at these little, it's 2-bit towns. There's Akkoy up top, or there's the Akmola region. What the hell's that? It's just gypsies and smoked meats. There's no advantage being here. You unless it was pushed up a mile away from Moscow, there's nothing even close that could provide a significant economic advantage in terms of proximity. What the hell are they talking about? Maybe they're alluding again to the underground tunnel networks that connects up to the alien life forms. And last on their list of lies as to why the capital was moved up north to Astana, it says, quote, good transportation facilities. No. See what you're looking at now? That's pretty nice. It wasn't built before the Notnilc pumped the hundreds of billions or whatever they pumped in. They didn't exist before the billions came in. This existed. Now maybe it wasn't Borat pulling you around on a rickshaw, but there wasn't no good transportation facilities. Are you kidding me? No fucking. Show me the damn bullet train prior to where the capital was moved to Astana. Give me a break. Let's look at transportation inside the city itself. Oh no. Bike share. It's Agenda 21, Agenda 2030. Bike share. Bike share programs came right out of a George Soros white paper. Any place that's not Notnilc, part at least has the bike sharing. Well, Matt, that has nothing to do with one world system. They just care about the people. I'm sorry. I'm going to take this whole video down and end the channel. Let me conclude this section by going back to the original sentence of lies on Wikipedia. Due to several determined advantages, Astana was chosen as the capital. 1. Large urban areas. Lie. We showed there were slums. 2. Favorable geographical position. Lie. The geographical position couldn't be more unfavorable if it was on Mars. 3. Proximity to the major economic centers of the region. Lie. There aren't any. Considerable demographic capacity. Lie. Lots of land. No water. That's a small problem. Good transportation facilities. Lie. They didn't exist before the billions came in. And a relatively favorable climate. Oh, it's favorable if you like negative 15 degrees with no rain. This is a picture of the brand new, relatively new airport that we're going to land in, the Nur Sultan Airport. And before this was built, before the Notnilc poured in its billions, it was a dirt strip. It was like the certain scenes from Mel Gibson's Air America. Here's probably the $500 million new soccer stadium, filled to an impressive 1% capacity, I must note. That's 99% empty seats. Well, Matt, this has got to be taken at 6 in the morning. No, the football game's going on, 99% empty seats. There's a retarded ticket scalper out front. Hasn't ever sold anything in 2 years. Just can't understand what's going on. They probably let the residents in here for free. You want to talk, I don't like the term, whatever it is, Potemkin Village. This thing is like a Potemkin Village on steroids. It's a creepy-ass place. Here's a really nice panorama view of what the Notnilc was able to do to the city in looks like less than 10 years. I guess it was the same creepy group that rebuilt Grozny and Chechnya after the city was laid waste to rubble over 2 Chechnyan Russian wars. It just kind of popped up and revitalized itself in 5 years. Makes perfect sense. I always wonder what the locals think. You know, the people that lived through the 2 Chechnyan wars, or the people that lived in this region of Kazakhstan, who for most of their lives experienced the first 5 to 10 minutes of Borat, and then all of a sudden see $500 million soccer stadiums popping up, the streets paved in gold, all new sewer systems, all new airport, everything immaculate, all these bushes and trees being planted, no trash, skyscrapers. What do the locals think? How many question, where did all this money come from? How did this happen? I mean, I watched a lot more videos, guys, on Grozny and Chechnya and that miraculous revitalization. And I haven't watched hundreds of hours, but from what I've seen, it's like everybody accepts it. Like it's just normal that Grozny's completely rebuilt. And well, did they say Russia paid reparations? I don't know. This story, I guess, to the locals, makes more sense. They just it's like the way an archaeologist at Yale would just scream out, it's a tomb to keep his job. They just scream out, oh, oil and gas money. It's really expensive now, the price of oil and gas, and we're big benefactors. And I guess the locals they just accept it's just oil and gas money. They just accept it without question. I mean, why would I expect the locals of Grozny or this region to be more attuned than the dumbasses around us over here? The masses are, in fact, asses, I guess, no matter where in the world you go. If the Notnilc's going to pour so many billions into a city or a region, I mean, at least they could have made it look good. This place has a weird feel to it, an alien feel to it. It's not best described like this, but it's like they're willing to pour $100 billion over here, but then they went and got like discount architects. Hey kid, are you done architectural school yet? Well, one more semester at community college. Hey, you want to move to Kazakhstan? I don't know. It's like they went cheap on on the architects, or it's also, it has an alien, per the real definition of, I don't think little green men build it, but now that I'm thinking about it, it seems like a welcoming platform for aliens, doesn't it? Like if you're going to welcome down ET or something, or certain scenes from Independence Day, maybe it's built like this to make them feel good. It just doesn't. You don't build this or this way for real humans. Who makes these sorts of architectural choices, and why? Guys, I'm glad we had the chance to look at Astana again. It's even more of a fraudulent place after this examination than the first time we looked at it. And Notnilc Travel Tours, this is why we travel virtually. I mean, this place, half of us or all of us would either end up in jail, some sort of gulag. I mean, could you imagine the call, that the NSA or the CIA would get or whatever? This group of the conspiracy people that we've been listening to, they all traveled, what, with us? They traveled together to Astana, and they're there now? Oh, this can't be true. This is whoever's listening in the Pentagon. This is a dream come true. Well, what should we do, sir? Lock them up and throw away the key. And make sure the records of the flight are removed. The flight and the damn airline charter never existed. If we went there for real, it would be Gulag Central, and that would be a best case scenario. That's why at Notnilc Travel Tours we travel virtually. And that's better. We just went to Astana, Kazakhstan. You know what the flight cost you? Nothing. You know what the hotel cost you? Nothing. Was there a cabbie trying to steal your fare, trying to drive you out of the way? He says, I need $20 more. You having bad smoked meats where you just spend 2 days sick with colostrum poison in the hotel room? See, we just avoided all those travel nightmares. With the most important one, I remind you, for people like us, we avoided a hard labor camp. We avoided the possibility of going into a gulag for the remainder of our natural lives. And that's saying something. Stick and stay with Notnilc Travel Tours. Thanks for listening.